everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations Daily Meditations. We record these meditations Monday through Friday, and the theme of our meditations is liberation, specifically liberating people from their learned conditioning, from living a life by default, from living someone else's life as a result of their conditioning. Before each meditation in the mornings, we also have a short talk, and the content from these talks is derived from our main ontological liberation and transformational program called Whole Life Architecture. Whole Life Architecture is a live interactive workshop, virtual workshop that happens over Zoom each week, where the participants are learning together, working together, supporting one another in becoming powerful creators of their own life so that they can create a life by design, as opposed to merely tolerating a life by conditioned default. Liberating themselves and creating a life by design so that they no longer have to be a walking, habituated, unconscious reaction to everything that happens in their life, so that they are no longer victims to how life shows up, but rather feel powerfully grounded in their creative ability to respond to life instead of react, and to create new conditions for their life that align with the authentic expression of who they actually are. And we cover all four areas: your cognitive architecture, the sensual or physical architecture, the emotional architecture, and the spiritual architecture. If this work sounds interesting to you, or if you're tired of living a life where you feel at a loss of power, where you feel like you're living someone else's life, where you feel like you're in chronic complaint about why things in your life aren't quote unquote working, then this may be a body of work you may want to consider. And if so, we'd love to have you. You can learn more at TMICglobal.com. We've been speaking for the last month and a half about creativity and about specifically creation and what it means to be a creator. And this week we started to dive into the world of spontaneity. Spontaneity is where creativity emerges from. Spontaneity is our ability to, instead of squeezing the life out of life with all of the rules and restrictions and ways that things are quote unquote supposed to be done, we lighten that grip. We allow life to show up and to emerge and to evolve as it does, because we have full trust of self to be able to respond as a creator to what shows up. Whether you can be with spontaneity or not says a lot about your relationship to yourself as a powerful creator, or whether or not you have devolved, as so many of us have been conditioned to, into a consumer of life, a consumer of time, space, energy, ideas, people, things. Whenever you're looking outside yourself for the answers, you are a consumer of life. That doesn't mean there aren't things to learn, but you can do that from a place of high creative intentionality, where you are intentionally consuming information, experiences in order to create something, or you can consume it merely just to not have to put in the effort and go through the discomfort of creating and being responsible for yourself. When we are standing in our own power, we embrace spontaneity. When we are not at power, we reject it. So ask yourself this morning, when things happen to you or in your life that you have the opportunity to respond to, but it was unplanned, it was off script, it was outside of the bounds, the rules, maybe it broke your boundaries. How do you respond or react to these spontaneous moments? Do they frustrate you? Do you get upset? Do you lash out? Or do you embrace them? Do you get curious about them? Do you see them as an opportunity to create around these situations of spontaneity? In the Japanese tradition, they have this experience that I've mentioned on a few calls now called wabi-sabi. Maybe you've heard the term. And wabi-sabi is this unique paradoxical state between wholeness and brokenness, between imperfectness and perfectness, between control and chaos. It is this knowing that all things are temporal, all things are finite, and yet in their temporalness, their finiteness, we find ourselves having this experience of total peace, trust, and a deep knowing that whatever is happening, we will be able to meet the moment. If you look around our world right now, there are many, many things that are clearly, ostensibly, evidently out of our control. The world is changing in ways that rarely has it been experienced throughout human history. Some say we're in a new renaissance. And before a new forest can grow, there's always a forest fire, and we are in the midst of the beginnings of that fire, which will lead, as the metaphor goes, to a new forest or a new renaissance of possibility. This change is difficult for a lot of people. This change is fraught with spontaneity. There are things happening every single day, whether in your own individual life or on a macro scale at a societal and even global level. Things that are happening that aren't supposed to happen, that are outside the rules, that are outside what we were used to, what we expected. And this is causing a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress for people, because the human brain does not deal with change very well. It rejects it, it represses it, it tries to avoid it, tries to obfuscate around it. In fact, our brain neurochemically rewards us, just even in our own individual life, to not change. More dopamine is released into our brain system when we kind of start to change, but then stop and don't see it through to the end. In our work of whole life architecture, we do a whole bunch of teachings around this principle, this phenomenon. It's called the near win, the neurochemical addiction that we all have to almost winning. Or another way that I put it in some of my talks, you're addicted to failure in your life and you don't know it, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to handle it. And the addiction to failure is precisely because the brain wants to avoid change. As soon as we begin to change anything in our life, even for things or around things that would improve our life, you'll notice how difficult it gets. How much we want to clamp down on what we know, on the way things used to be, on how things should be done, on what the rules are. We want to avoid the unknown. We want to avoid creating a context where spontaneity could emerge at any time and surprise us. We don't have trust of self. We don't know ourselves as a creator. We're not taking responsibility. We are unable to respond to the spontaneity of the moment because we don't trust ourselves. And yet this is not a powerful place to live or to come from. And so we're stuck in this odd situation where change is happening whether we like it or not. Spontaneity is the new name of the game. And yet we have a brain that wants to grip and squeeze the life out of life. It's as though our whole life were a perpetual clenched fist. Try to hold your hand in a fist for a long period of time. You can't do it. Eventually the muscles get tired. Your knuckles start to hurt. If you grip harder and harder, it becomes even more difficult to hold that fist. But an open hand, you can leave your hand open for days, months. And that's a metaphor for life. Are you open to life? Are you open to change? Are you open to spontaneity? Or are you a closed fist, gripping to what you know, gripping to the way things are supposed to be? Your relationship to spontaneity in your life is evidentiary of your relationship to change. If spontaneity knocks you off your footing, confuses you, stresses you out, because that's just a small incremental change, then your relationship to change is one of weakness. You, instead of being a creator of your life, are more satisfied just merely consuming other people's expectations of you, other people's creations, other people's rules, other people's structures. You're not standing in your power. If you can't be with spontaneity, it is evidentiary of how you reject your own power as a creator. And yet that too is a choice. You don't have to. You can create a life by design instead of merely tolerating a life by default. But you have to take that first bold step. You have to look at the areas in your life where you're in chronic complaint, chronic dissatisfaction, and you have to face it. And you have to say, no more. I will stand in my own power as a creator of my life. And all of these things and these areas and these people and these situations and these circumstances and even these choices that I may have made years ago simply to fit in, simply to look good, simply to gain approval and validation, I will not continue to engage that way, to engage life that way. I will not continue to support those choices. I'm going to hit the pause button. I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to connect deeply, profoundly, and powerfully to my authentic self. I'm going to answer the question that Lewis Carroll asked in Alice in Wonderland through the caterpillar's character. To Alice, he said, "Who are you? Who are you?" Most of us don't know ourselves. And so we can't answer that question. But you could if you put the effort in. You could if you did the work. You could if you deconditioned and liberated yourself. You would find yourself under the rubble of all the conditions and expectations that other people have placed on you, all of the people-pleasing and validation-seeking that you have bent and contorted yourself to fit into, where you're living a life that isn't even yours. Sure, you're living it, but it's other people's. It's other people's lives. It's the lives of their expectations of who you should be, why you should be it, how you should be it. If you're tired of this, there's a place for you to go. You can find out more about our program, Whole Life Architecture, at TMICglobal.com. This is why we created this, to help people liberate and awaken to their own aliveness, their own vitality, their own power as a creator, so that not only can you tolerate spontaneity, but you crave it, you thrive on it. You can't wait for the next new thing. What might be around the corner? What's possible for me? I trust myself to be able to respond. That's what people who are liberated in their power as a creator say. They don't need things planned. They don't need things strategized and locked in. They don't need to know every potential twist and turn. They move, they flow like water. That's what's available to everyone. So this morning, as we move into our meditation, we're going to do another watcher-observer meditation this morning. And this is a technique that is used to distinguish the thinking mind from the authentic self. Your mind thinks. It's just what it does, like your heart beats and your lungs breathe, your heart thing, or your brain thinks. And we don't have to react and attend to every thought that our brain has, but most of us do. We are, as I said at the beginning, a habituated unconscious walking reaction to everything we think and experience in our life until we choose not to be. And so the watcher observer meditation helps to develop that technique, the ability to watch your thoughts, the ability to observe your emotions without reacting to them, chasing them, getting consumed by them, being taken out by them. Because you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions. You're the watcher and the observer of them, and as creator, you have the ability to choose how to respond to them, if at all. But only if and after you develop this technique. So for the next few minutes, be seated in a comfortable position. Take a few deep cleansing breaths and allow yourself to just be. Allow yourself to have your thoughts drift in and out of your awareness like clouds in the sky. Planning, strategizing, worry, whatever your thoughts may be, excitedness. Note them, acknowledge them, but don't obsess, ruminate, and chase them. Just allow them to drift in and out of your awareness. And as a thought comes in, an emotion might follow. Let that emotion rise and fall like the waves of the ocean. Feel them, feel your emotions, and let them drift in and out like the tide. It only takes about 90 seconds for an emotion to emerge and then dissipate. It's us who usually ruminate on our emotions and keep thinking about the thing that caused the emotions to arise. And so we usually keep our emotional states active for days, weeks, sometimes years. We don't need to. We can let them go. Just like the waves, they can drift back out. So for the next few minutes, allow yourself to just be. Allow your thoughts to come in and out, your waves of your emotions to come in and out. And observe and watch. And see how you feel. Observe yourself as this practice is moving along. And I'll see you all in a few minutes. And welcome back, everybody. Reconnecting to the world without, the world of effects, the of the world dynamics. As we practice this morning the Watcher Observer meditation, what this is good for as a technique in the real world is for you to move out into your day, staying connected to that Watcher Observer state as you go about your day, as you go about the obligations that you have, the meetings, the interactions, things that maybe normally would give you stress and anxiety. If you can stay connected to this spaciousness you now feel, you might find that you simply are observing these situations, these interactions. Sure, you're participating, but you're standing also a little to the side as the observer simultaneously to the doer of them. And it's almost like you get to watch yourself and you get to watch the people and the situations you're acting inside of. And it doesn't feel like you're embroiled in it anymore. It doesn't feel like it's got you. And this is a superpower. This is what we mean in whole life architecture when we say the world is either bending to you or you are bending to the world. The only way the world bends to you is if you can remain in this state of openness, that is the state of the creator, where you are in the world but not of it, meaning you are not of the rules, the expectations, the conditions, the stress, the anxiety, and all of the drama that the average person's life is constituted by. Because you, as a creator, are no longer consuming it from the outside in. You are generating who you will be moment to moment from the inside out. That's what's possible for you. See if you can stay connected to that spaciousness as you go about your day today. And we will continue our meditations tomorrow morning.